Alrighty, hi there, 7th graders. Happy Friday. Okay, so today we are going to do some more reviewing and reteaching. Okay, because remember next week on Wednesday or Thursday, you have your unit test over all equations. Okay, so today's objective is that I will solve problems with equations. Now, this includes our one-step equations and our two-step equations, and even the equations with distributive property. Okay, so and the importance of solving and checking. Okay, because if you were to solve and check, you need to make sure that you are doing all the parts correct. Because if this student was to do this, they would eventually find out that they did make a mistake in their work. Okay, so let's look at today's notes. Okay, so we have that we're going to review one and two-step equations with integers. No fractions or decimal today, so let's just focus on the basics. Let's do a quick review of what our job is to do when we have one and two-step equations. So the first page is only one step, okay? So our job solving one-step equations is to isolate our variable. Increase my font here. So we're going to isolate the variable, okay? That's your job. Well, what is the variable? What does that mean? Well, that means to get the letter, that's your variable, alone. No other numbers on the same side as the variable. Okay, so the way that we do that is we look to see what operation we see. So if you see addition with the plus sign, that means you need to do subtraction to get rid of that number. So then vice versa, the opposite of subtraction is addition. And our opposite of multiplication is division. Okay? Whatever you do to one side, you always do the same thing to both sides of the equal sign of the equation where your equal sign is. Then we must always check your solution. Because if we check our solution and it is not correct, then we know there was a mistake made, whether it was computation or maybe you didn't do the correct inverse operation. Okay, so let's look at a couple that you have on this page. So I went ahead and started to rewrite the equation to show what I'm going to do next. Okay, so when we have this, I am going to, the opposite of addition, we said is subtraction. Now, this is the whole -7. So if I write it like that, but we know, because we've learned this at the beginning of the year, do we subtract a negative number? We can't really do that. That's like taking away a debt. So we're really adding a +7. And whatever I did there, I need to come over here and do the same thing. That makes this section here cross out. Okay, all of that goes away. So now I can finish writing this out as r equals 16, because that's what 9 and 7 make. Then, of course, down below is where you check. Checking is super easy. Replace your r with your solution of 16. 16 plus a -7 equals 9. Okay, we had a number line and we started all the way at 16 on the number line and we made 7 hops backwards. Where would we end up at? Okay, if you have to, go back old school and use a number line. Okay, so if we had 16 and we had to take 7 hops backwards, we ended up at 9. A lot of students are stopping at the very first part of the equation. You have to finish it off. You have to do the whole thing. All right, so number 2 has a multiplication. Remember, that means 2 times x equals -12. So if we divide both sides by 2, that makes my 2's here disappear. So then I just have to take x, and if I have negative 12 and split it in half, each half has negative 6 in it. So then all I gotta do when I check my work is take 2 times negative 6, and is that equal to negative 12? Well, if you borrow $6 twice, how much do you owe me? $12. If you owe money, it's a negative. Okay. All right, so now let's go look at 2 steps. You have a little flow chart that has been neatly given for you. Okay, so you need to eliminate the constant term first. But what in the world is the constant term? It's the number without the variable, the number that is either being added or subtracted. So then you're going to either add or subtract first. Then we have to eliminate the coefficient. Well, the coefficient is the number attached to the variable. It is either with multiplication or division. Remember, a fraction is division. So then that means you must either divide if it's multiplication or multiply by the reciprocal, okay? Because this m is really like a half m if it's m over 2. Then, of course, check your solution. Substitute it into the equation. Check for it to be true or false. If it is false, you need to go all the way back and retry it and find if you need a computation error. Did you do those steps correctly? Okay, if you got it true, check mark it, move on to the next problem. So let's look at 7 and 8. All right, first job, eliminate the constant term. It's addition, so I am going to subtract. So if I have 3n plus 2 equals 14, I am going to subtract 2 on both sides. That makes this eliminate. Okay, so then I'm left with just 3n equals 12, because 14 minus 2 is 12. Go to your next step, eliminate the coefficient. Well, this is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. Okay, oops. So I'm going to divide. I'm going to show division with a fraction type to cancel them out. So then I have my solution of n equals 4. Now I'm going to go in and check my solution. Substitute it into your equation. Okay, so it is really 3 times 4 plus 2 equals 14. See where I substituted my 4? Same spot where my n was originally. Now do your PEMDAS. Okay, do multiplication before addition. So that is 12 plus 2 equals 14, and 14 equals 14. You got a true statement, so we are done with that. We're good to go. All right, so let's look at 8. I'm going to rewrite it just so that we can see clearly, but I'm going to rewrite it as a half m minus 6 equals negative 18. Okay, my first job, it's subtraction. What's the opposite of subtraction? Addition. But remember, once you get to this side, you have to follow the integer rules. I'm going to put int rules. Okay, if you owe me $18 and you only give me 6, how much do you owe me now? You still owe me $12. Okay, next I want to get rid of this half. That is where you come in and you multiply by the reciprocal. Let's see, what colors have we not used? Let's choose orange. Okay, so multiplying by the reciprocal. That means I am flipping the fraction to multiply. So we can't divide by fractions. It is really after you try dividing, if we modeled it, just basically multiplying the number. Okay, so my 2's cancel, and I get m equals negative 24. And of course, I'm going to come in and check my work. Okay, substitute and put your answer where our m is, not 24. I mean 12, I want 24. So negative 24 divided by 2 minus 6 equals negative 18. Okay, well, what's half of negative 4? Negative 24. Half of negative 24 is negative 12. Minus 6 equals negative 18. Well, remember our lovely integer rules. We can't follow them unless it's written in addition form. So you borrow $12 one day, you borrow $6 another day, you owe me $18. Okay? It might look like it's a lot, but really this is saving you so much time doing it this way than trying to do all your work in one little tiny bunched area. Okay, so make sure, and plus I wrote big to make sure you guys can see it on the screen. Make sure you are following all of the flowchart. You are checking your work, because when you do your test on Thursday, that's everything you're going to have to do. When you get to the word problems, look at the keywords. Okay, earn $6 an hour. Remember, that is multiplication. Helping his grandmother write and solve to find her out. That's a one-step equation. So you're only supposed to have one operation because we're on the one-step side. Okay? So wants to earn, that's your equal. So make sure you're doing those and getting them all set up. Let's look at the two-step equation problem. Okay? On Friday, it was 32 degrees at 6 a.m. and it rose. That means it went up. So that's your addition right there. Okay? But it rose up 3 degrees per hour. That means you're taking 3 times however much it is, how many hours it was rising. We don't know the hours. Right there it says you're taking 3 times your variable. So how long did it take to reach your 53 degrees? That is your equal sign. Okay, hopefully I hope that helped so that you could set it up. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Stay safe and warm. It's supposed to be super cold. All right, bye.